The Runnin' Rebels are the hottest show in Vegas, and they've been lighting them up in the Thomas and Mack Center, where the fireworks have been non-stop this season. The Rebels have been doing it with a wicked fast break, a propensity for the three-point bomb, and a pressure defense that has the college basketball community looking at UNLV with a newfound respect. The Runnin' Rebels are at the top of every major poll in America, the #1 team in the land. And head coach Jerry Tarkanian finds himself the major attraction everywhere he goes. But today, Oklahoma coach Billy Tubbs' band of gunslingers have different plans. An ambush is planned here in the Old West.
UNLV thinks they're #1. We'll see about that.
So the stage is set, and for Las Vegas, they have to feel right now like they're riding down what could be a dead-end canyon. They come in here with a gaudy, unbeaten record of 15-0. They have beaten Oklahoma once this season, but that was in Las Vegas. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger, along with Billy Packer. Billy, what about this Las Vegas team of Jerry Tarkanian?
Well, you know, they have a history of being one of the nation's highest-scoring teams. But, Brent, they're very much unrated defensively. Their pressure defense is part of their offense, and look for it today.
What will Billy Tubbs do against them here today with the Sooners?
He's going to counter with a man that didn't even play in the last game, DJ Johnson. It's been my experience on television games. Some kids love to play on national television. Johnson has been that kind of player. He's a key today.
All right, can the Runnin' Rebels stay unbeaten? This is a major test for them along the road. We'll get started in a moment. Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners are ready to go against UNLV and the top-ranked team in the nation. We'll start Gerald Patio, who played JC ball here in Oklahoma, along with the big man, Armin Gilliam, in that front court. Now stepping into the starting lineup is Richard Robinson. He has replaced the injured Jarvis Bassnight as the starting center. We'll unfold that story for you. Mark Wade is the splendid point guard of the Runnin' Rebels, and their gunner, the main man, Freddie Banks, averaging 20 points a game. Now for the Sooners of Oklahoma, they are 11-3. Big David Johnson will work in that front court. He brings bulk. And a man by the name of Darrell Kennedy is 6'5". He's a slick rebounder and shooter. And, of course, Harvey Grant. He has transferred in here and done a fine job, averaging 15 points a game. He's silky smooth. Their leading scorer is Tim McAllister. He has averaged 21 points a game. And the point man is Ricky Grace. And so, Billy Packer, bring us up to date on the Jarvis Bassnight story, how we stand with that.
Well, Brent, we watched him yesterday in practice go down with what looked like a very severe ankle injury. Some fellas don't handle pain very well. Jarvis is one of those kind of guys. Today he's been running up and down the court. Looks like he could play a little bit, but Jerry's not going to start him. We'll see how it goes as the game moves on.
So he sits down, and Robinson, a 6'10 junior, 0-0, will jump center against Grant. And Robinson controlling the tap. Gilliam is 35, and Banks pulls the trigger with a three-pointer off Oklahoma. Gives the Runnin' Rebels one shot attempt, and down comes McAllister, leading to Grace, who dumps inside, and here's Johnson.
Here's our TV man. Last year against Duke, he was outstanding. He's been outstanding in every nationally televised game in his career.
McAllister picks up Banks. Applies a little Oklahoma pressure here to the top-ranked team in the nation. Now Wade, who averages double figures a game in assists. Frequently, they have to coax him to shoot the ball. Armin Gilliam against the double team, whips it back outside. Three-pointer on the way. They miss. The ball knocked out of bounds. Las Vegas.
That was Freddie Banks in a rebound. An excellent rebounding guard. You notice that Vegas will throw that ball cross court to get that three-point opportunity for fellas like Patio and Banks.
Banks grew up in the Las Vegas area. Had a great high school career and has blossomed under Coach Tarkanian. Patio.
Nice
JC
defense.
forward.
Good defense by Kennedy. Those are pretty good, strong fakes.
Gilliam coming up.
Now, Grant cannot afford to play behind Gilliam to that degree. Funny timeout that taken so early in the ball game. Good defense that time by Wade.
Billy Tubbs wants to talk it over with his Sooners, something he did not like. We're just underway in Norman. It's 2-2. Milwaukee, an old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Domino's Pizza. Avoid the noise. Domino's Pizza delivers. One call does it all. I think you can hear Coach Tubbs. He didn't have enough time in that timeout.
Well, 59 seconds by in this ball game. To call a timeout that early is very unusual. I think the key was to get Grant in a better position defensively.
Now the running Rebels go to the pressure. Grace able to bring it up for the Sooners. Here's Kennedy, and it is blocked on the baseline. Las Vegas comes away with it. Here's the fast break with Wade in the middle. A pull-up jump shot.
Very seldom does Wade take. Last year he played 21 games in which he shot one time or less. Really throws Oklahoma off stride by taking one that early.
McAllister dribbles up against that full court heat. Full court heat. Kennedy over in the corner. Here is Grant.
Good feed inside. Kennedy, who was a post player last year, is playing on the wing a lot this year because of Grant's ability to move inside.
Now Oklahoma will turn up a little full court pressure.
They don't want Robinson bringing the ball up the court, or Gillum. They're trying to get it to Wade. Good job by Grace.
Grace staying right with him. Wade played his freshman year here at Oklahoma before he went to a junior college and then eventually transferred to Las Vegas. They force a turnover, and the Sooners will bring it down. They're tied at 4.
Good pump fake.
McAllister threw the foul on Banks.
Brent, there's a matchup. Banks and McAllister, two of the best guards in the United States, both offensively and defensively. Just great all-around athletes. That's going to be a matchup today that I'm sure a lot of pro scouts are going to watch, because both of them have the ability to play pro basketball. They're the guys that both teams count on in the clutch going down the wire. Freddie Banks in his career has had 7 game-winning shots. McAllister, as we know, hit the big shot the other night to beat Kansas. Two outstanding players.
Look how McAllister against Tarkanian, who will chew on the towel for the first time. Notice how McAllister positions his feet.
Kind of unusual also for a man that's that strong to have his feet that far apart to get the leverage.
Sooners lead in it on the strength of one free throw. Patio, a forward who can take the outside for the three-pointer. Wade gets it to the big hammer, and Gilliam fouled underneath. That was Johnson, number 55, his first personal.
You notice how easy it is to feed the post if you can throw the ball cross court, because before the defense can go ahead and make the adjustment, the ball can be entered back on into the post man. Excellent play by Vegas and good defense by Oklahoma, just couldn't get there in time.
Judging from the initial pace, you would have to believe that both benches will play a key role before this game is over.
But Brent, because of the fact these teams play the full court game each and every day in practice, they're probably in a little better running shape than most teams in the country. At least mentally, they're prepared to run the full game. But a key may be the heat in this gym, as we watched Georgia Tech wilt here a couple of years ago. So it ought to favor Oklahoma in that regard.
Good pass to McAllister. Alley-oop. Down the follow. The Sooners have an opportunity as Grant hits his second field goal of the game. Great follow by the young man.
That has Jerry Tarkanian off the bench, and one of the things he's worried about without Bass Knight in there. They're playing over the top of Vegas right now. That was Kennedy and Grant following up. So although Kennedy does not have the stats this year he had last year, he's really helping Grant to pile up some big statistics. Grant leading his league in rebounding right now at over 10 a game.
On that replay, I think you could see Robinson coming right up over his back. His first personal.
Well, full court pressure now by Oklahoma. Vegas wanting to get it in Wade's hands.
And Wade slips it to Patio. The three-pointer is short. Grant comes away with the rebound. Oklahoma lost at Las Vegas by 9 points earlier, 90-81. Johnson with a jump hook.
Little off balance. Look at that McAllister go up.
McAllister stays with it. And Oklahoma dominating the play underneath the boards.
McAllister was up at rim level. Excellent rebounding guard. terrific athlete. And there's Johnson again showing what he can do. Now, he's a little over anxious on that little jump hook, but there's that rebound I was talking about, McAllister. How many guards in the country can pull off a shot like that?
Grant being muscled out by Gilliam. Banks gambles on the steal. McAllister with possession for the Sooners.
McAllister very good with the ball. Very seldom turns it over.
Here's Johnson on a runner. Couldn't get it, but the ball will be offensive interference and score the 2 points for the Sooners. And right now, Billy Tubbs' team is dominating underneath the glass, and they have carved out a 5-point lead over the #1 ranked team in the nation.
That was Kennedy, who has a great nose for the ball. He led the Big 8 in rebounding last year, and here's the equalizer.
The three-pointer.
There's the equalizer.
Quickly to Grant.
Grant, that was a sensational catch by Grant, going full speed. He's 6'10", super athletic ability to pull up and make that layup.
Intercepted by Grace. Grant again. And bangs a fourth field goal. Total of 9 points in the opening moments of this game. The Sooners on a roll. With Oklahoma ahead, 14-8. We'll take a break and be right back. And the weather here in Norman, Oklahoma, it has been miserable for the last 48 hours. This city was hit with a severe ice storm. The highway and driving conditions were terrible, and I'm surprised at how many fans were able to find their way to the arena. Billy, we have an excellent crowd on hand.
Great crowd. What I admire, Brent, is getting here is one thing, but the weather report is it's supposed to get worse as the day goes on. You wonder how you're going to get back home.
Well, the streets look like this. You can see the folks tiptoeing virtually through the parking lot to get to the Lloyd Noble Center. And more snow forecast on the way this evening or tomorrow morning. So if you're in the area and going to be driving, by all means, be careful. Now Coach Billy Tubbs has to be pleased with the rebounding. His team has attempted 12 shots here already to UNLV's 6. That means a 2-to-1 ratio, and the offensive rebounds are starting to build up. Here comes Gilliam, the pull-up for Tarkanian.
The Hammer is one of the best all-around inside players in the country. Can post up low, hits that jumper outside. Very economical use of the ball. Outstanding player.
Grace lost control. Robinson with possession for UNLV, and following the timeout, they can run off 2 in a row if Patio can bury it.
Soft shot. Kind of a one-dimensional player. He's a great scorer and shooter. Not very much of a ball handler. Does a good job defensively.
Grace gets around Wade, penetrates, and there is a foul on Grace. It'll be offense on the point guard of the Sooners, who's had a tough 2 trips down the floor.
Well, Brent, if he's going to commit that far away from the basket, 23, 24 feet, he knows he's not going to be able to go all the way to the hoop with a team that's as fundamentally sound as Vegas defensively, so he's got to pull up at that foul line.
Grace picks up Wade. McAllister did not touch the ball. Banks thought that McAllister had a hand on it and let it go. So it'll go to the Sooners on the turnover, and that's 3 turnovers against the Runnin' Rebels, who are down by 2, and they have to be somewhat satisfied that they aren't further out of this game right now.
You notice Johnson takes the ball out all the time. Billy Tubbs says the reason he likes to do that is because he hates to run. Gives him a chance to throw it in bounds and just stride up the court.
Keep you up to date on that other game being covered by CBS Sports right now.
Man-to-man defense.
Good pass to Kennedy.
Patio lost him on the cut. He was so concerned about what was happening on the other side of the court. And Kennedy, as we said, is an excellent player posting up inside.
After the successful field goal, the Sooners apply full court pressure. Great pass by Wade, a look-off. Gilliam was hammered by Grant. May have injured a knuckle on his left hand. Armin Gilliam is looking at that hand as he came into the rack that time. He's in a little bit of pain, bending over as he had walked out behind the free throw circle.
Doesn't look like anything could hurt him. You're going to see Great look away, Brent. You made an excellent point there, because what made the play was that Wade looked away. There you have Grant coming across. Has to have a little bit more strength than it looks like he has to be able to stop Gillum from making that dunk shot. Grant had a wrist injury this year that kept him out for 6 weeks.
There you're looking at a young man who had a fine future as a college football player. But he decided that basketball was the sport he wanted to concentrate on. He had football offers for schools out of West Virginia and Pittsburgh when he grew up back in Pennsylvania, and didn't start playing basketball until he was a junior in high school.
Only averaged 13 a game as a senior in high school. Not sought after at all as a basketball player. Played on our World Championship team this summer. That's quite a summer. You figure all the ball games that he played last year. Almost had an NBA
steal
season.
by Gilliam. Wade comes back, and a run of Rebels can go ahead and will not stay down for Banks, but he gets his own rebound back. He out-hustles the Sooners. Patio with a three-pointer on the way. He'll light it up from any place. And it is UNLV 17, Oklahoma 16.
That three-pointer's a real equalizer, and for UNLV, they're used to coming from behind. They came from behind on 13 down in Arizona, 12 Temple, 20 Western Kentucky.
Kennedy's open at the line. Gilliam starting to exert himself underneath. Made a steal a moment ago, but he is still bothered by that left hand. He was injured on that play. Banks can't get the ball to stay down. A little bit too much spin here in the early going of this game. Grace comes down, deflected out of bounds. It'll stay in the possession of the Sooners.
There was another time, Brent, where Grace could have pulled up at the foul line and created a lot more as he floated out to the side and gave up the ball. He really took away the good cutting advantages.
Eldridge Hudson, the 6'6" senior, checking in for UNLV, and Patio sits down, and Jarvis Bassnight reports over to the scorer's table. Bassnight, normally the starting center, twisted his ankle in practice yesterday. It had tightened up. He warmed up prior to the game, said it was a big one that he would try to play. So we'll watch his movement. He comes outside on Grant. Here's Johnson.
Not a good shot. And he made it anyway. He lights it up on TV.
And the Sooners regain the lead. Wade gets by Grace. Off the three-pointer, Banks faked and moved inside. So Banks was not having any luck outside the three-point range. That time a little fake, and he moves in closer and tries to get his timing down and his rotation.
But you can't say enough about Wade. He can spot those fellas cross-court for those three-point opportunities. Good double team.
Kennedy fouled by Hudson. This was the scene at practice yesterday. Bassnight, after turning the ankle, was helped over to the sideline, and ice was applied, and it was taped following practice. And then he reported that it had stiffened up a little bit this morning, so Tarkanian decided to start Robinson instead. Stacey King reporting in for Oklahoma with Johnson sitting down. King is a 6'10" sophomore. Both coaches go to their benches.
And they have nice benches to go to, particularly in the front court area.
Kennedy.
He may be a little bit too quick for Hudson. Although Hudson's fundamentally sound, that knee injury prevented him from being the great player he would have been. And he's going to have a hard time keeping up with Kennedy.
Big turnover by UNLV, and Gilliam returns quickly to the lineup.
Little tape on that finger. It's like the middle finger on his right hand is what he hit. King's got good position on Gilliam. There he is.
Lob to King, and he is fouled by Hudson, and Eldridge Hudson picks up 2 quick fouls.
There was a case where Gilliam did not have good defensive position. King was posted up in there nicely. Good weak side help coming over, but a little bit too late to get there. King started off with a bang as a freshman. Looked like he was going to have a great year. Then was ineligible for the second semester. Coming back now, and obviously a very gifted player, just a matter of playing time.
And Patio returning, with Hudson receiving a few words from Tarkanian as he sat down over on the bench. King missing the free throw.
He's shooting 71% from the line, has been to the line quite a bit. You like to see a big guy that's active and gets to the line off. He's got a little Michael Jordan act right here with that tongue out.
Oklahoma leading by a point.
Oh, thanks. Three-pointer. That's an NBA three-pointer.
And hands it off to Kennedy.
Don't want to pick up that dribble out there.
Banks all over McAllister. What about the three-point ratio? Well, UNLV averages virtually 8 a game along with Providence, so they will put it up and they're right on target.
Providence basically two players, Donovan and Delray Brooks, who's having a great start out there at Providence. Billy Donovan, an excellent three-point player. Now, one of the things that helps UNLV, the PCAA has had that rule in for 4 seasons, so they're used to the three-point shot, and it's been from this distance.
Wade whips it off the patio. Wade at the top of the circle.
Good
UNLV not shooting well yet.
Nice job by King on the tip out. Grant for the lob.
Grant's open. Grace spotted the open man underneath and whipped the ball to him quickly, and Tarkanian not pleased with a man being that wide open underneath the basket.
Grant runs the court very, very well. Went to Independence Junior College last year. Originally was at Clemson as a freshman. Signed actually with Kentucky, Nevada, Reno, and Georgia State thought they were going to get him, and he ended up here at Oklahoma.
You saw Gary Graham check in, and Banks sits down for the running Rebels.
Graham, a good defender. Grace laying off Wade.
Patio. Gilliam with possession and a second chance. As he came through there, the official detected that he had turned it over. So it will go to the Sooners.
With Kennedy taken to the bench, both coaches using their benches wisely, realizing this game is going to be a tough one physically.
King battling down the baseline, drew the foul. Oh, in Norman, Oklahoma, at the Lloyd Noble Center here on the campus of OU, the Sooners leading the top-ranked college basketball team in the land, 22-19.
Brett, both of these clubs jawing off a little bit. That happened at the game in the NIT preseason tournament. Ricky Grace and Wade really going at it right now. Not a lot of love lost. You can see them really going after each other out here. A lot of lip. Coaches get along great. The players have a problem.
King, Grant, McAllister, Grace, and Seeger on the floor right now for Oklahoma. Grace with control. Coming up on Wade and all over him.
Grace has to be careful not to take a one-on-one challenge now just because they were talking to each other. Graham, a great defender, playing McAllister.
Grant on the turnaround. Rebound by Gilliam, who comes out, and the Rebels come down quickly. Graham inside was a bit out of control and drew the foul, and Tubbs won't like that one. He's very unhappy about this call.
Graham took it all the way to the hole. Whether or not Grace was able to get there in time. Graham's brother Ernie played for the University of Maryland. He took that little step on into it. If he had held his ground, he'd have had a charge. We'll see it right here again.
One of the things that appeared to me, Billy, was that he was out of control as he made that move in on the inside. I saw that play a little bit differently than the officials did. Nevertheless, Graham steps up to the free throw line. That is 2 personal fouls on Grace.
Dunbar High School prospect. His high school coach now coaching at the University of Maryland, Bob Wade. It's kind of interesting. 3 of the best years in the country right now are guys that were teammates on that Dunbar team. Reggie Lewis, Reggie Williams, and Tyrone Bowles. 3 of the top players in the country all played in the same high school team.
Oklahoma leading by 2 and with possession. Boy, off the made free throw, you can set that pressure. Knocked away from Seeger. The Rebels have got it on the turnover. Wade quickly down the floor to Graham. Over the corner was Patio. Graham didn't spot him. He penetrated himself. Taken underneath by Bassnight. And Gilliam couldn't get anybody to move up in the air, and he turned it over again.
I think Bassnight might have hit his head on the backboard. When he went down that last time, he really scratching his head. He might have hit it on the backboard. These two teams right on schedule for a 100-point type ball game. 10-minute mark right at the 23-21 type score.
McAllister up over Wade. And the Rebels can tie it or go ahead if they attempt another one of their three-pointers and are successful on it. Wade penetrates into the glass beautifully and was tied up underneath. It'll go over to the Sooners. No one to give it to as he got in real low that time.
Fred, that's kind of unusual because the Vegas players would know that Wade's looking to dish off as opposed to shoot at the end of a fast break like that. Nobody broke to the ball.
King coming out far away from the glass. Seeger, three-pointer. Bassnight rebounding for the Rebels. Okay. Open man is Graham. Seeger didn't have him. It's 2-on, 3-on-1. Bassnight.
How about that ankle? What happened to the bad ankle? He's limping now, but he wasn't limping going down on the offensive end.
Sooners did not get back well on defense that time. They were outmanned. Seeger in the corner.
Oklahoma not using the ball very well right now. They've got McAllister in a position where Wade's playing him. Wade's too small for him. They're forcing up shots.
Patio's three-pointer. Knocked away and out of bounds by King.
Graham, good passing on the inside. Here comes Jarvis Bassnight. Super dunk. Wade's going out of the ball game right now. That may help the matchup situation a little bit because Oklahoma really could have taken advantage. Now you see Bassnight limping.
He's limping pretty badly.
Yeah, he is.
He goes over to the sideline. I'm going to be surprised if he returns. Willard has checked in. Patio, he can't get anything to fall here. And Gilliam was up on top of King. That's his first personal. The team fouls right now. 6 against UNLV and 4 against Oklahoma. It's 25-23. Sooners lead the running Rebels. 9:16 to go here in the first half. Seeger's three-pointer. Short. Kennedy.
Well, he is a garbage man. 6'5", 6'6". Has a great instinct for the ball on the offensive boards.
Now the Rebels trail it by 4. Here is Willard out, setting the pick for Banks.
Willard's a good shooter.
Gets it to Patio. They go in low. Gilliam gets in behind as King gambled and could not knock the ball away. Away from Johnson. Willard deflects it, and Patio quickly runs it down in the corner.
Kennedy didn't realize that Patio was on that side of him. He was just worried about Willard.
And that's the 8th turnover by the running Rebels. They're having a terrible time. They have turned it over here 3 times in the first half, all over there in that corner in front of that Sooner bench. Grace bringing it down on Banks. Here's King to Johnson.
Use that body. Johnson is one of those wide bodies. He got the good feed on the inside. King made a good play to just get it off to him. And Johnson moved to the ball. Lucky pass there, getting it on the inside. King had no place to go, and here comes Johnson right down that lane. Willard had no chance to defend against him because he's got the body.
Hey, how do you figure Jarvis Bassnight? I thought he was headed to the hospital on that last trip.
Well, remember yesterday, Brent, he laid on the floor. I thought he broke a leg. Some guys just don't like the pain. They hyperventilate. And Jerry looks at him. He's right back in there. McAllister back in with that shooting power.
Las Vegas down by 5, 30-25. McAllister goes down. Graham is inside of him and all alone. Seeger rebounds Sooners. Out to McAllister. Grace is open on the far side for the layup.
If anybody ever watches an Oklahoma practice, one drill they use every day is that cross-court 60, 70-foot pass. That was almost like their
Banks
clinic.
comes back and misses, and Seeger's off again, and here they are. Grace, 2 layups in a row.
Same play. They love the baseball pass length of the court. And with Wade out of the ball game, UNLV's not getting good balance.
Oklahoma builds its biggest lead on number 1. Loose, regained by Basnight. Inside to Gilliam.
Soft shot with that turnaround. Gets the ball high above his head, behind his head. Very difficult to block.
Grace spins on Banks. Gets it off to Johnson, who comes down the baseline for a layup. The Sooners are shooting layups right now. Timeout is called. Will this be the day that number 1 loses? We'll be right back.
Basketball's finest, the 5th-ranked Orangemen of Syracuse take on the agile attack of the Michigan Wolverines tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Okay, here's where you're going to see the great outlet pass. McAllister's going to be able to throw the ball. At this point, Oklahoma has everybody at this end of the floor, but we're going to have the man breaking long. McAllister fires wide. Watch the execution, just like they do in practice. Ball goes out. McAllister looks for the baseball pass. Here comes the wide open man for the layup. Beautifully executed play, and it's exactly what you can watch every day in practice at Oklahoma.
The 3-point shot is betraying UNLV here this afternoon. They are 2 of 10 from the 3-point range and 8 of 13 shooting 2-pointers. So you live by the 3-pointer in some games, and you also die by it.
Well, Brent, coming into this game, they've taken 271 shots from that 3-point line, averaging 44 a game on it, so you know they're going to come back. Particularly look for Patio to get back on that 3-point shot.
He moved it into the corner to Freddie Banks. Banks has been pulled for the 3-point range here this afternoon. UNLV at the perimeter. Oklahoma keeping him out there right now.
There's Patio.
Good fake. Stepped inside Seeger for the 2-pointer.
Seeger's a good athlete and is a great leaper, so Patio did the right thing, not try to force up the 3-point shot.
Now Grace has 7 assists. He's controlling the ball for the Sooners. Gets it over to King. Johnson comes down the baseline, one of his favorite spots here this afternoon. Missed on the shot, and King went up into Basnight's face, and the foul is called on King.
Johnson really being aggressive offensively. We kind of expected this.
You talked about on target for 100 points, and Billy, here are the top scoring college basketball teams in the land.
You notice the second one there, the University of North Carolina. It's amazing to watch a Dean Smith club. A few years ago, when they didn't have the clock, he's playing 4 corners. He's always been a high-scoring team, but he goes with the tide. This year with the up-tempo game and a 3-pointer, he's right up there as a 95-point-per-game.
Wade on the penetration with a left-hand layup, and Grant is fouled by Wade.
But that's Wade's 4th shot of the game. A couple of layups and 2 pull-up jumpers. He may have to score. What do you think is going to happen to Vegas as this year moves on, Brent, is people will not play him at all. Let's say you take your best defensive big man and assign him to Wade and let him just play in the lane as a one-man zone. That makes it very difficult for a guy like Gillum to get free.
I think some teams have already sloughed a guard away from him, haven't they, this year?
Exactly. A lot of people play their guard away, but I would go ahead and play my big man on him and then slough him off and just have a one-man zone inside. Let your guard take the second biggest man.
Young man at the free throw line has a twin brother. His name is Horace Grant, and you may have noticed that that Clemson basketball team remains unbeaten, and that's his twin brother, who is leading that ball club in the ACC right now. Billy, they're one of the underrated teams in the nation.
They are undefeated. He's #1 in scoring in the league, #1 in field goal percentage, and #1 in rebounding, so he's having quite a year.
Banks at the 3-point range, again off the fake. He steps inside of McAllister. Now that's twice in a row that UNLV, which is not shooting well from the 3-point range, off a fake, has stepped inside and buried jumpers, and they're back to within 7 points of the Sooners.
Here comes Vegas's scramble, double teaming wherever they can.
Three-pointer.
Great job by Oklahoma to recognize the defense, get it back outside.
Three-pointer by Banks, and Grant rebounds for the Sooners. Johnson was open, but Grace decided not to gamble. Three-pointer by McAllister, in and out.
And here come the running Reds. No time to breathe in this game. Good
Patio inside to Bass comes up on Johnson.
That was a good cut by Bass coming right across the lane. And big guys ought to love to play on these type of teams because the inside is open. That's one of the reasons that they passed the three-point shot.
Grant. Bass rebounding. Here's Banks. Patio's on his right. He'll stay out beyond it and miss. Grant. Oklahoma's turn. Grace's three-pointer is short. Patio rebounding.
Both teams getting a little wild right here. Wade saying, get the ball up court. Nice pitch. That's called a knee pass.
They practice that, right? That was Wade showing a little bluff there. Gilliam inside into the paint area. And he buries the jumper, and it's 41-35 Oklahoma.
Bass is so tired he cannot get down the court. Now here's a case where whoever he's guarding, in this case it has to be Grant. Grant ought to really try to move. He's a little tired also.
I was about to say, I think he's too tired to exploit it right now.
He can take advantage of it. There he is.
Coming up over him. He didn't get the roll, but a great job by Johnson.
Bass can't move, and if Grant will recognize it, he can get some easy baskets.
Armin Gilliam has been Mr. Steady as far as shooting is concerned. He's 5 of 5. Looking for number 6, and this one will be short, and Bass with a great job inside for Tarkanian.
Bass had 14 rebounds. He's asking Tark to come out of the game. He had 14 rebounds in the first game between these two teams. He's got such quick hands inside.
I think Tarkanian
Jerry won't. He's ignoring him.
He's not even looking at him. He said, don't tell me you want to come out. Not after what I'm looking at.
Now here's that scramble. Oklahoma recognizes the double teams. They're just throwing the ball around outside. Good move.
Three-pointer missed by McAllister, but Kennedy and Johnson dominating the offensive rebounds. 3 shots by the Sooners, and it's 45-37.
Both teams are exhausted right now. Johnson has to come out. Billy Tubbs just waved him off.
What a pace this has been here this afternoon. Patio says, I'll take a three-pointer.
He'll make that one. That's the first time today on his three-pointer he was squared up and took the good shot.
They're 3 of 13, and McAllister says, oh, that's the easy one.
And neither coach wants to call a timeout here, Brent. They're both hoping their guys can hang in here. 2 minutes to go. This is a very dangerous time for both teams. The big guys can hardly move. Wade holds it up. Even Freddie Banks is breathing hard, and he can play all day long.
Wade's three-pointer won't stay down, and there's contact underneath as Bass collided with Kennedy, and that's Bass second personal.
And here comes a wave of substitutions, and they are sorely needed.
And the guys who are going out are saying it's about time. We'll be right back. It's Oklahoma up by 7, 47-40 at the 2-minute mark. Billy, it has been some pace with Johnson stepping up at the free throw line at the other end.
What's interesting, you know, these two teams, if you mixed up the players and didn't let the coaches tell, it'd almost be like a scrimmage game. This is the way they play all the time, so there's nothing new here at all. And if you're facing one of these two teams for the first time, it's got to be quite a workout for you.
Playing very well. Man, you focused in on at the start of this broadcast.
Yes,
David Johnson.
he's having a big game.
He likes to rack up those Chevrolet MVP awards.
He thinks the cash goes to him. He thinks at the end of the year you get like a car, but you have to clue him in.
Hudson. And Grace got a hand on it. Wade whips the ball to Hudson. Graham's three-pointer on the way for the running Rebels. It's 48-43.
Pass. That was some feat. All the way under the basket. Kennedy couldn't hold it. But a great feed from McAllister. We saw McAllister in that baseball fast drill yesterday. It looks like he's got about a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. There's Johnson going out, and the fans really appreciate what he has done in the first half.
Billy Tubbs will use Chuck Watson, number 40, for the first time. He's a 6'7" senior. He has replaced Johnson. Another wide body. A couple of fellows who got away from Barry Switzer down here.
You know, and
Watson and Johnson.
They have Ron Roberts, too, so they have one more wide body to bring in there.
Offensive foul. That was on Watson. We've got a timeout. And I know 10 athletes who will welcome it right now. We'll be right back. And here in the Oklahoma UNLV contest, we have had a total of 21 three-point shots attempted already. Jerry Tarkanian's running Rebels have put up 15 from beyond that line. They've only hit 4, but Oklahoma is shooting even a worse percentage. They are 1 of 6 so far. Offensive rebounds have been the difference. It's 14-7 OU with the lead in this game.
And they were out-rebounded in the first ball game by about 7. Doing a much better job on the boards here.
Graham's three-pointer.
Valuable player, on time graduation schedule. Actually could have graduated in December. So done a good job for Jerry Tarkanian both on and off the floor.
Oklahoma with that 2-point lead and a possession.
See, the trap scramble is not bothering Oklahoma at all. They're able to throw over it, wear down UNLV, and then get the three-pointer off.
McAllister does that. He missed everything, but he gets a second chance. And Graham could not control in underneath, but it'll go over.
One of the things Oklahoma could do against that trapping defense is get somebody on the foul line and try to fire the ball to the foul line so that then they could go either side with a quick pass. But they recognize the defense that they're going up against, and so far have executed pretty well against it.
Well, this has not been artistically the kind of half that Jerry Tarkanian enjoys, but his number 1 ranked running Rebels are only 2 points behind here with time ticking away in the first half.
He's going for one shot. They'd like to get one of their 3-point shooters out here like Graham or Patio. Hey, there's the clock went off. Brent with 6 seconds to go.
Second shot clock.
They made a mistake.
Went off. There was a mistake made here. They're going to have to reset the clock. The buzzer went off, indicating that the 45-second shot clock had expired. Actually, they had turned that off already because there were not 45 seconds remaining when Las Vegas took the ball. So the officials now are conferring as to how many seconds Jerry Tarkanian's running Rebels will get here before we wrap this first half up.
Brent, this is one case where the officials this year can come to us. There should be at least, I think, about 5 seconds on that clock. They can come over and use the TV screen this year to check out a situation in regard to time. And I would say that we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 5 seconds ought to be on that clock. It's surprising that Jerry Tarkanian doesn't get Freddie Banks in the ball game right now, because then he could have Banks and Patio and Graham, 3 three-point shooters in there at one time. That's what he wants. And here comes the official over to us. It doesn't surprise me. They want a run back.
Like a run back over here at the television table. One of the officials has moved in, and so here's the replay of the action. They're checking to make sure now.
Run it back again.
Now they want to run it back. They want to run it back one more time if they can. Did you think there were 5 seconds left? Is that what you saw?
5 seconds, yeah. Brent, you think you're in the NFL?
Yeah. You watch the clock. UNLV has the ball, and 5 seconds are going to be put back up on that clock. Well, Billy, we do use instant replay in college basketball.
There you go. And I'm really... Yeah, Freddie Banks is in the game, so Tarkanian was able to go ahead and get Banks in the game. So now he really has all his three-point weapons in there. Jerry doesn't miss much. Good job by the officials. No reason to... Watch Wade here. I believe Wade picked his head up actually even before 5 seconds, because he looks up at the clock. Now watch. There he looks up at the clock when he hears the horn. It might have been 6 seconds, but at least 5.
So the 5 seconds are put back up on the clock. And Wade and Graham come out.
But remember,
along with Patio, Banks, and Gilliam.
Remember in the NCAA tournament 2 years ago when an official came to the sidelines to try to find out who was the right shooter on the line. He was disqualified after that, unfortunately, but now it's part of the rule. Now, wait a minute. That was a horn from the stands. That was a horn from the stands. They're going to get 2 seconds this time.
Now Tarkanian is complaining.
That could be a technical foul.
Another one.
That could be a technical foul. That was a horn from the stands, not from the arena. The horn that was sounded came from a fan.
Well, this time, the official is going to come back over here and say, I'd like the headset, please. I'd like to listen.
Well, Tark is going to have 2 seconds.
He's asking us about the horn.
That was not the horn from the arena.
And Tarkanian says, score that field goal.
Yeah, sure.
And they're going to go off here. The players are headed up towards the locker room.
That's right. The official
now,
is
the official,
wondering.
he's not too sure. He's saying the horn went off over here.
Yep.
So score it. They're saying that that horn didn't count, that the ball was in the air.
Now, Tark is saying
we want the 2 points.
No, he wants 3. He wants 3.
Well, let's see where the shot was. They can't look at instant replay for the 3-point line. Let's listen to the natural sound.
Brent, I think it was a 3-point play.
I'll tell you, I don't want to call it because I couldn't see the relationship of the line to the feet. And I don't think that that's part of the particular rule. I think it's only the clock.
That's right. They can't come over here to determine whether or not the man's foot was over the line. But I believe it was a 3-point shot.
There was no doubt that the horn was behind us.
Right.
The mysterious phantom horn here in Norman, Oklahoma.
But what the official was asking the sentry guard there to do was to make sure that person is exited out of this gymnasium. And the referee did a nice thing here. He said, I don't know if it was a 2 or a 3. He said, I'll have to be honest with you.
He said he killed it. The ball's in the air. Check the television. Go check the television.
Now Tarkanian wants you to check the television, and here they come. So I guess we're going to have a tape.
Can we get a replay of the last action?
All right, they'd like the last action replayed, and Billy has willingly given up his headset so the official can hear it here. So we'll re-rack it, and here's how it sounded.
Run it back, please.
Run it back one more time. What's your name, sir? Your name?
Welcome.
Now, exactly what are you trying to determine on this as you look at it?
I want to see when the horn went off and when the ball was in the player's hand.
Okay, you want to see the ball and the horn relationship. So we need to play the natural sound again for you. So here it is. Now, the question about, are you talking about the time?
We're talking about where the guy was when he shot the ball.
You're talking whether it's a 3-point or a 2-point shot? You cannot tell from that replay because where the clock is superimposed, it's not definitive, okay?
We can tell on that it's good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You're welcome. Well, I'm not sure I've ever been involved in anything quite like this. I hate to find television in the middle of helping them officiate the game.
Hey, Brent, here's what the problem. We talk about angles. I thought it was a three-point play. Now, here's a different angle, and I think they're going to prove that it's a three-point play. It's a three-point play. Now, the officials said from the angle they had before with a little box in the way that had the time on it, there was only 2, but it is a three-point play. Now, I don't know if we can go to the locker room.
Now, what do you propose that we do? Go back and get the officials out here?
Yes, I think that what you're trying to do is to get what's honest in the game. That was a three-point shot. The officials, in my opinion, ought to be notified. Now, they had this situation in a game this year that Fred Barakat in the Atlantic Coast Conference overruled a three-point play and made it a 2. Now, I don't think they can change it now, but it should have been a three-point play. It's a great TV game, huh?
Well, I guess
my headset's soaking wet. These referees are working harder than the players. I guess I have the easy job.
Well, as of now, they've gone into the locker room with the scoreboard showing it. Oklahoma 48, UNLV 48. But judging from that replay that we have just seen, the running Rebels should be ahead 49-48. Now we're going to return to the Lloyd Noble Center with Jim Nance.
Here today, 19th ranked Navy knocked off American 96-60. Another big performance for David Robinson, the big guy, to the basket there for 2 of his 31. He also had 12 rebounds. You'll see him get his own rebound on the miss here, followed up for another basket. Add on 5 block shots for the big guy as he leads Navy to the win. And Navy now on the year is 11-3 with that victory today.
As we get ready to start the second half, but Billy Packer and I, and if you've been watching, realize that UNLV should be ahead, that should have counted as a 3-point field goal during that controversial, hectic closing moment that we had there at the end of the half.
Brent, I would agree with you. If the honest approach to this is the score should be 49-48. I'm going to read you the rule book here. Television monitors or replay equipment may be used only in situations to prevent or rectify a score or timer's mistake or malfunctioning of the clock. Use of replay equipment for judgment calls is not permitted.
Now, let me just interject something here on this tape. Someone in the audience sounded a horn, and keeping in mind that we are in Oklahoma, if you will look at the officials, as soon as the horn was sounded, they took their eye off the shooter. They lose contact, and they start to look up at the clock. Now, we're going to show you this replay as to how they lose contact with it. Now, Rick Wilco of the Big 8 came over to look at the replay. You see the horn? Do you see the official at the bottom of your screen? He immediately looks up at the scoreboard, and he signals that was it. The horn had gone off. Now, he is distracted because of the sounding of that horn back up here in the stands. I realize that it's probably against the rule the way it's written, but I think the spirit was violated by the crowd here in Norman, Oklahoma, and that, in my opinion, the running Rebels should be ahead by a point starting the second half. I don't know if they're going to change it or not. Now, here's the angle that we were unable to get to Wilco.
Bottom line, I agree with you, Brent, but the officials cannot change the score according to the rule book, in my opinion. It's obviously a 3-point attempt.
Now, and the official...
Now, I was going to tell you another thing, Brent. If we'll run that back just a second, the official had his hand raised for a 3-point attempt when the shot went up, so therefore it has to be 3. Run that back a second. We have our telestrator here a second.
Yeah, take the
run
telestrator
that back,
out
and I'm going to show
everybody
you
what
something.
you're looking at. As once he gets it re-racked, we'll get an opportunity to show you that again. Now, keeping in mind one thing, that angle that you just looked at, the referees did not see. They had headed on into their dressing room, and of course that's one of the great criticisms of the use of instant replay in any particular sport. If we don't have that angle covered, if our truck hadn't been able to find that particular picture for you, then no one ever would have been able to see it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little pause, get it all re-racked, and show it to you one more time, and we'll do that right after this commercial and a word from your local station. CBS Sports presents college basketball. Today's game is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. Bud Light, everything else is just a light. And by RCA, technology that excites the senses. The play that will not go away at the end of the first half, when somebody sounded an air horn up here in the stands and the officials signaled that the clock had stopped, and Billy Packer thinks he has found one official ready to say that it was a 3-pointer. Billy?
I don't think there's any question about it, Brent. We're going to see an official coming up right here in your screen, that's going to raise his hand for the three-point play. You watch his hand go up. He signifies 3 points. There's no question it should have been a three-point play. He saw the play.
Let me ask you about the authority of coming over here and using our replay equipment.
Okay, on the first situation where it was a matter of time and score.
Right.
Not judgment, but time and score. They have the right to come over here. But in my opinion, on the second occasion, when it was a matter of judgment, which was trying to decide was it a three-point play or not, they do not have that right to come over here. So I think they are wise from a rule book standpoint in not coming over here at halftime to change the score, even though, unfortunately, they would have been correct by awarding 3. The thing I don't understand is that official who raised his hand to signify the beginning of a three-point shot opportunity kind of disappeared on the play. Let's hope that this game is not decided by 1 point either way.
Well, Jerry Tarkanian has his running Rebels deadlocked with Oklahoma. And if you were with us throughout that first half, you'll realize that for the most part, the Sooners outplayed the #1 ranked team of the land. But if you watched UNLV come back against Western Kentucky, you'll know how resilient this ball club is. We are set to go. The scoreboard says 48 all, and we'll leave it at that for the time being. Banks, another one of their three-point gunners, whipping it across to Wade, the point man. They get it to Gilliam, and Bass Knight starts the second half, has a layup.
Pete Grant to the spot. Bass Knight really needed that rest at halftime. I imagine all these players did.
Grace, the point man for the Sooners, working with McAllister, who passes to Grant. Grant, the open man, buried the shot. It was a two-pointer, and that's 15 points for the game for Grant.
It's nice to have a big man can step outside and hit that jumper. It really softens up the defense.
Graham, who starts the second half, firing it over to Banks. And Banks will attempt the first three-pointer of the second half. Gilliam with an offensive rebound, reached over the top of Johnson, and Johnson was backing into it, and the foul is going to go against Johnson. And that was the Jim Nantz final that you got at the end of halftime. And Billy Packer, what stuns me more than anything is the fact that Seton Hall has beaten them not once but twice.
That's right. The first time they killed them, and now Seton Hall has to be careful for Connecticut. After they beat Georgetown, they went up and got beat by Connecticut. But P.J. Colorado has a much better ball club than people are accustomed to at Seton Hall. Some quality players, and he could make a run in the Big East. Our broadcast partner, Billy Raftery, knows all about that Seton Hall ball club. Coached them for what, something like 8, 9, 10 years?
Kennedy waits for McAllister. McAllister shoots quickly on that release point, and even when you're in his face, he can bury it. That's 7 points for the game. He was relatively quiet in the first half. He has given the Sooners a field goal advantage here early in the second half. UNLV 15-0 and #1 in everybody's poll. A chance to go unbeaten this year, but a tough game here and later at Auburn on the road.
You notice when UNLV comes out to meet the ball, they all go out beyond the three-point line.
Wade's two-pointer. Controlled by Oklahoma, and Johnson whips the ball to McAllister.
They run their offensive patterns behind the three-point line. That's why they were able to get off so many.
Great steal by Graham, and Kennedy fouled him. Did not give him the breakaway layup. Is that going to be a two-shot foul down here?
Definitely.
Was that a deliberate foul by Kennedy? You would think so.
Yeah, definitely. Kennedy could have reached for the ball and fouled, but the minute that he grabbed onto the player, no question, puts Banks on that line. And the passing lane that time, when you're playing against the people that are as quick as UNLV, Graham, I didn't mean Banks, but you have got to throw a pass that's a little bit better pass than that.
Billy, strategically, Tarkanian has gone to a bit of a smaller lineup here. We're trying to have Patio over on his bench, and Graham opens up the half. So we've got Graham, Banks, and Wade, 3 guards for Tarkanian.
Patio was just 4 for 10. That flag waving up there. Now, the hands aren't distracting, but that flag gets in your way. Very difficult.
Deadlocked again. The kind of game we expected, complete with controversy. Johnson getting down in deep, and the whistle had sounded just as the pass was being made. And a reminder, tomorrow we've got NBA action headed your way on CBS. It'll be Houston against the Boston Celtics. Larry Bird having returned to the Celtic lineup. And how will the Rockets overcome the loss of their guards?
We'll get Cedric Maxwell in there to help them on the inside. That's going to help the Twin Towers a little bit. I think the interesting story in the NBA this week is two fellows going with the drugs, Brent, but the real key is John Lucas coming back into that league after going through a very difficult period of time. The mismatch right now that we have is that Graham has got to guard Kennedy. Kennedy really has an advantage on him. He should post up Graham on the inside. They can get Kennedy the ball. Here is Kennedy.
Johnson. Wade controls for the Rebels. Good penetration, slick pass. Banks hits the three-pointer, the home run, and the Rebels are off. 55-52. They gain the lead.
What Wade does so well on that semi-break is he sees the whole court, and all of his teammates just try to get themselves open because they know he'll distribute the ball well.
Off Grant's hands, goes to the Rebels on the turnover. You can feel Las Vegas starting to turn up the intensity, especially defensively here.
Well, Brent, I believe that the key for Oklahoma now is to recognize that Jerry Tarkanian's gone to the small lineup and start going inside a little bit.
Banks' three-pointer from the other side. He puts two quickly on the board. That's a total of 13 by Banks.
Let's see if they recognize that Kennedy's got a much smaller man on him.
Johnson off the jumper at the baseline. 16 points for Big Johnson. Graham. Fast night out at the top of the circle, and Wade waits, and it'll be Gilliam on the turnaround. And Grant yanks it away for the Sooners.
Doesn't it look like Oklahoma's very tired coming out here in the second half? They're just not getting up and down the court. Good feed.
Grant. Didn't get the good roll on the shot. And Gilliam rebounding for the running Rebels.
Fast night wide open. Nobody sees him. Fast night still wide open.
Banks' three-pointer misses that time, but Gilliam with an offensive rebound. High arch. Fast night had a hand on it, knocked away. McAllister.
Both teams are tired. They can't get their second wind out here, and just defensively not doing the job.
Wade sends it over to Banks.
That first half took a lot out of these two ball clubs.
Gilliam with a beautiful bouncer inside to Basnight.
He's a left-hander, but came across nicely with his right hand that time. Excellent feed.
UNLV leading it by 4. Basnight is perfect. 5 for 5 here in this game.
Here comes the wide body.
Does take up some space, doesn't he, folks? Three-pointer by McAllister. Erie, Indiana product. Pulls the Sooners back to within a point. Banks on the penetration. Loose. Gilliam controls for Las Vegas.
Great rebound by
got up in the air on that one, didn't he? Rebound by Johnson. Knocked away, and he was fouled.
Not getting in shape, being overweight, not putting out in practice. It's interesting, Billy Tubbs said one day he just walked out of here and headed up the plank, and Billy said we didn't care if he ever came back or not. Johnson came back, apologized, and Billy has taken a long time to get him back into the lineup, but he's proven his merit today, playing a great game.
Johnson at the line, 16 points and 7 rebounds here this afternoon.
Kind of interesting in the program, they list their favorite athlete, and Johnson's is Darryl Stingler. See a story behind that little line in the program. He's working hard. It's awful hot in here. Both teams having a hard time turning it up here in the second half.
And he puts the Sooners back into the lead. We've got a timeout in Norman, Oklahoma.
who has transformed home entertainment, bringing sight and sound together with one remote. Who? RCA, with Digital Command Component Systems. A choice of components operated by one remote that deliver a sight and sound experience you must experience. Digital Command Component Systems. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
When you need a truck you can lean on, America knows nothing works like a tough Chevy truck.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
If you just ask for a light beer,
Give me a light.
you never know what you'll get.
What I wanted. Bud Light.
So if you want the less spilling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
We do regret one thing because of that controversy, and that is we were unable to bring you the videotape story that we had planned on Kevin Houston, the outstanding scorer for Army. He is the leading scorer in the country. He tossed in 18 this afternoon, even though Army was beaten by Holy Cross 72-60.
Well, Brenny's averaging 30.7 points per ball game this year. In free throw percentage, he's shooting 95% from the foul line. Son of a coach. Nobody wanted him, goes up to West Point, leads the nation in scoring. East is loaded with big scorers. They've got Houston, they have Terrence Bailey from Wagner, second place. David Robinson's in third place. So three Eastern kids leading the nation in scoring.
But the West has the #1 ranked team in the nation. They have possession right now. The Running Rebels of Las Vegas trailing Oklahoma 61-60, and Gilliam does something about it.
Well, Oklahoma went to the zone for the first time today, a 2-1-2, and Gilliam went right in the center of it. There's that baseball pass again. Ooh, good.
Johnson puts it on the floor. McAllister with a strong offensive rebound and a turnaround. And Oklahoma again goes to work on the offensive glass. Harvey Grant, the Georgian, has the Sooners up by a point. The cross-court pass and the patio three-pointer on the way. Reported into the game during that timeout. Oklahoma's ball off the miss.
That's Patio's shot, but he just can't hit it today. Grant wanting that ball inside on Robinson. That was almost a 4-second count.
Here's Grant, and he moves it off the pass quickly to Kennedy.
Well, that was a nice job by Grant to give that ball up inside. He almost had an easy shot for himself, gave up a better shot for Kennedy. And here's the zone again. 2-1-2 with Grant in the middle. UNLV should be looking for some outside bombing here.
Lob by Wade.
Hit the back of the board.
Robinson couldn't do anything in that deep. And it goes over to the Sooners.
Now, Jerry Tarkanian seeing that zone, he's going to be bringing Banks back into the ball game, try to get to surround that zone and shoot some three-pointers.
And Dave Seeger, number 44 you saw, a moment before that, had checked into the game for the Sooners. That, for Oklahoma, their big edge here this afternoon. And yet they only lead by 3 points. Kennedy putting it on the floor is fouled as he tries to come around Patio at the baseline.
He really surprised Patio by putting that ball down and going baseline. Patio's feet just weren't ready to move.
The unbeaten teams in the nation. Down in the major categories, we have these 5. UNLV, Iowa, Syracuse, Clemson, and DePaul. You will see Syracuse tomorrow taking on Michigan in Ann Arbor. And that's 2:30 Eastern time on CBS.
And Iowa goes to Purdue on Monday night.
McAllister's three-pointer missing. Strong rebound by Gilliam. That's 11 rebounds for Armin Gilliam so far in this game.
They're surrounding running that zone with Banks and Patio looking for the jumpers.
Banks will take one. Three-pointer. He has tied it up.
It's tough to play the zone against this team. Got to have so much pressure on the ball, and if you extend your zone out that far, the middle's wide open.
Kennedy.
Kennedy playing today like he did last year, where he was an all Big 8 performer. He's been having all kinds of injury problems this year. Missed one game with a groin injury. Had a lot of problems.
Quick pass to Gilliam. Can't get the roll, and Kennedy yanks it away for the Sooners. Gilliam pressuring Johnson in low. They couldn't get the ball to him. Instead, they go to Kennedy.
Funniest looking bodies for a basketball player I've ever seen. Flat-footed, looks like he'd get hurt running up and down the floor, but gets the job done.
Running Rebels down by 4.
Staying in the zone gives him a chance to rest a little bit.
Patio's three-pointer rattles out, and he can't get it to fall here this afternoon. Tarkanian stands up on that Las Vegas bench, knocked away by Bassnight and out of bounds. Good defensive move for Jerry.
You know, Brent, Patio, this is the first time I've seen him up close. He's got a lot of rotation on that ball for a good shooter.
Hi, I'm Mr. Goodwrench. I was GM trained in Chicago.
I'm Mr. Goodwrench. Got my GM training in Terrytown, New York.
No matter where he lives.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Portland, Oregon.
Mr. Goodwrench can get something not just any mechanic can get. GM training.
Got my GM training in Oklahoma City.
I was GM trained in Atlanta.
GM has training schools all over America.
Miami, Florida.
Buffalo, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
So no matter where you are.
Houston, Texas.
No one knows your GM car better. No one.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and to me. There's no place that I'd rather be. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Beer.
When a cold invades your house, get Neosynephrine. For stuffy little noses, nothing's more gentle or more effective. For bigger noses, nothing's faster or longer lasting. Let your whole house breathe easier with Neosynephrine.
You've a very important date, and you're really looking great, Ben.
That tingle, a cold sore is coming on.
Campho-Phenique Cold Sore Gel works on developing cold sores to help speed healing. Campho-Phenique Gel helps stop cold sores from stopping you.
One of college basketball's finest, the 5th-ranked Orangemen of Syracuse take on the agile attack of the Michigan Wolverines tomorrow on CBS Sports.
Back in Norman, Oklahoma, I'm Brent Musburger along with Billy Packer and Jim Nance. Oklahoma leading UNLV 69-65, and Billy Tubbs, wearing a wireless microphone, had this to say moments ago to the Sooners.
Our banks are in the corners. You got to go all the way out and cover them. And we got to drop everybody else in there. You understand? Hey, we're 12Z. Him on the point. 12Z, we're still in our spread offense. Hey, you got to watch the press.
Now, that was Oklahoma coach Billy Tubbs, and UNLV averaged 18 three-point field goals a game coming in here to Norman. Today, they have chucked up 23 and made 9. And the two men that Coach Tubbs is most concerned about on the floor moments ago, Patio, number 23, and Banks, number 13. Patio, though, is struggling. He is only 4 of 12.
Brent, I mentioned as he's shooting that jumper today, he's getting a lot of backspin on it. That may be his normal shot, but you don't see many guys from long range have a good touch that have that much backspin on the ball. There's man-to-man out of bounds. Look for some screens inside.
Go deep to Seeger when they didn't get the action inside that they wanted, and that was good defense, Billy.
Excellent defense. Vegas really knows how to move those feet in their man-to-man.
Knocked away by Gilliam.
Good feed.
Grant in low. Johnson has it knocked away by Wade. Outlet past the bank. Seeger's there. Deflected by Seeger, who did a spectacular defensive job that time.
Well, he sure did, and only an athlete of his ability could have got those hands up in time. Banks knew that Seeger was capable of going and blocking his layup, so he had to make the pass. Let's see what kind of defense Oklahoma's in now. They went to that 2-1-2 zone. Got a chance to rest a little bit, but they really have to fear the outside shooting. Now they've changed it to a 1-2-2 zone so they can get a little more pressure on the man at the top of the key. If it's Wade, they'll let him go and try to pack him backside.
Patio's three-pointer, and he hits one.
That brings rain when he shoots that jumper.
And that has to bring confidence to Las Vegas because he had the cold hand here so far this afternoon. Kennedy
got fouled on the way up.
Knocked away from Bassnight and controlled by Grant.
You know, Grant must be awful strong on that lean frame because he stays right in there with guys that are much stronger. Look.
Hands one. Oklahoma leading by a three-pointer.
He didn't wink at me, but he looked over here and said, get the car ready. I mean, it's really, I know what's on his mind. He's going to get that award again.
He makes the all-Chevy team every year, folks. Patio again from three, but it just rattled out, and Gilliam with an offensive rebound. Patio strong inside, is tied up. Jump ball. And it'll head in Oklahoma's direction, according to the possession arrow.
Both of these teams staying real close to each other. You've got to figure somebody's going to go on a little bit of a run here in the next couple of minutes. And it looks to me like Oklahoma's club on the floor is a little fresher.
Johnson finally gets it into Grant's hands. Knocked away by Bassnight. He's on the breakaway. Here he comes.
Now, why doesn't his ankle hurt on the breakaway?
Well, he'll limp here in about 10 seconds. We'll see him down. Look, he's limping. Look at him. Look at him down there. He wants out of the game.
Oh, and this is unbelievable.
Now, he's done this twice here this afternoon.
All he had to do was
just
lay
walk
it up.
down and lay the ball. If the ankle's hurting you, don't give it showtime. Now look at him. I mean, there's no question, folks. Don't misunderstand what we're saying about the young man. I don't want you to feel that we're putting him down. He was injured yesterday in practice. We just don't know how severely because he keeps coming up here with a thunder dunk like this one.
If he just lays it up on the board, forgets all the garbage, he doesn't hurt his leg. Now he comes down, he runs halfway down the court, and all of a sudden realizes he's got the bad leg.
How about
this
earlier
time it looks like they're holding his knee.
So Willard checks in, number 40. Off of Jerry Tarkanian's bench. One of the things I noticed about Tarkanian, the NIT, played earlier, he has a deep bench. It's one of the deepest in the country, and that serves you so very well when you get into foul trouble. Looks to me like the one man he cannot go without is Armin Gilliam. As I watch the team here today, fans back in Las Vegas would know better than I do, but he's a real smooth-looking basketball player. That's Patio with a great defensive play. Here he comes, dishes off, and Graham shoots the layup. Boy, that regains the lead for the running Rebels. They're never out of it, folks, are they?
That defense is what got him back in. Bassnight's great play on the inside a few moments ago. And just when you think they're wilting a little bit, they come right back. Grayson Graham pushing a little bit. Nice piece of officiating there. Johnson ought to get down court, not worry about bringing the ball up the court.
Patio fouled Kennedy. Well, we have mentioned this already, and near the conclusion of today's CBS game, Billy and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of both UNLV and Oklahoma. You know, we're going to cover that sweatshirt over there on the sideline. You probably have noticed what it says, Stop Something, the UNLV. That's one of the organizations back at school. It says Stop Drugs, and the players on the team wear those sweatshirts. That was Willard being whistled for the foul. That's the sweatshirt that the UNLV players wear. And there couldn't be a better message, could there, at this particular time, especially regarding athletes.
Brett, they have 6 seniors on this ball club. All 6 are in line to graduate on time, which is a very great situation for Vegas. Because
and somewhat unusual.
That's right. They started a new program 4 years ago. They've got two full-time people involved with their academic situation. So it can be done if you want to put the time and effort into it.
72-71. Running Rebels with the lead. They turn it over, and Oklahoma can regain it. We're going to go right down to the end of this game, aren't we? This will be a buzzer beater, the way this one's shaping up. Almost a steal by Banks.
The passing lane is not there when you're playing against a team as quick as Vegas. We've seen it time and time again. You can't make those entry passes from that far a distance.
King gives it to Seeger. Kennedy off the cut. Forced that one in. King rejected by Willard, but Oklahoma's ball. Here's Grant sliding through.
Nice ball handling that time by Oklahoma, and Grant has got the good hands inside.
19 points for Grant here this afternoon. Graham, a 2. Now, Tarkanian doesn't agree. That's why both those arms were extended in that touchdown signal. He thought it should have been a 3-pointer. Grace comes through, and a nice driving layup. Good touch on that, and Oklahoma has the lead, 75-74. Banks, 3-pointer. Knocked back. Foot race. Banks, he's too quick for Seeger, but it's off his foot. No, they say it's off Seeger's foot.
Banks is smiling. I think that hit his toe. I think it was Banks.
Should we show them the replay if they ask?
Well, again, we can say one thing emphatically. They can't come over to check that one. That would definitely be judgment. Let's see if it's not Freddie Banks' foot that this hits. There's his foot. That was rather easy call to make.
So we've got 7:27 left to go, 75-74, and we'll be back right after these messages from your local stations.
This is CBS.
So you got caught, and you got to go to court.
If you've been charged with shoplifting, don't let it ruin the rest of your life.
Call Richard Shapiro, attorney, 587-7000.
Before you come into Little Caesars to pick up your free pizza, be sure you cut out our coupon.
Find out about some of the new medical treatments that are available in our area this week on Doctors on Call. Sunday morning at 10:30, right here on WHAS TV, Stereo 11.
Last year, Sam Swope sold more new cars and trucks in Louisville than anybody else. And to celebrate and start the new year fast, Sam's been sale tagging all his new cars and trucks. So for a limited time, a new Sunbird starts at just $150 a month. A new Grand Am is as low as $193 a month. Or take your choice of a Pontiac 6000 or Honda 4-door Civic from only $199 a month. We're going to be #1 again in '87 because we think history bears repeating. Hurry to Sam Swope's celebration sale today. And remember, nobody walks away.
Sports presents college basketball. Today's game is sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Beef Industry Council and Beef Board. Beef, real food for real people. 7:27 to go. Billy, I mentioned the 2 benches with this withering pace and the heat, and there's an unbelievable difference here.
Well, it really surprises me. Stats are the kind of thing kind of get away from you in the course of the game. I thought both benches were doing a nice job for their respective teams. I never would have believed it was 28-1 at the time. I knew we flashed that up a second or so ago, and it shocked me.
I have a question about Gilliam. In the first half, he was 5 of 6, and in the second half, he's 1 of 5 for the running Rebels.
Both of these teams came out at the start of the second half and seemed like they had wilted a great deal. It's going to have a lot to do with what's going to happen this next 7 minutes because the clubs both look like they're a little tired.
A sloppy ball handling mistake by UNLV. They simply throw the ball away, make a mistake, and Tarkanian, who's simply holding his head in his hands that time, saying, how can you do that?
This is not an easy place to win. Kansas broke a 48-game winning streak here that Oklahoma had at home when they beat them last year in a Big 8 game. So, tough place to beat them.
Gilliam fouls Kennedy. That's his 3rd.
And there's Jerry. Now, Jerry can look that sad when he's up 30. The head down. Where's the towel? Jerry might as well start to reach for it. See if he goes for that towel.
$14 points for Kennedy this afternoon. Oklahoma up by a point. Down toward the 7-minute mark here in Norman.
And Oklahoma back to their man-to-man. They showed him the zone for a very short time.
Gilliam really doesn't want the shot, but Patio takes one, missing. King rebounding for the Sooners.
Now, Patio has drilled that three-pointer all year long, but he's nowhere near hitting it today. It's not that he's missing it, he's missing it big.
Turnaround by Kennedy. Willard.
Second big rebound by Willard. Willard's going to be a fine player. Good shooter inside. Hadn't had a chance to put up much offensively.
Patio that time shook his head. He didn't want it. Willard off a nice fake inside. Puts the running Rebels ahead. He looks good at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he's going to be a fine player. Nice touch. Good follow-through on that jump shot. Another one of Jerry's JC transfers. Played 1 year of junior college ball.
We've had 14 lead changes here so far this afternoon. King.
Beautiful move. Another thing, Brent, I wonder why Vegas kids are wearing T-shirts in here. You would think that would hurt you a little bit, as hot as it's getting in here.
Three-pointer by Banks. Gilliam.
He's not
throws up a left-handed shot. Gets it, and he was fouled by King.
What made me think of that is taking a look at Graham's jersey. It's soaked all the way through. Now, you're wearing that shirt, and that's got to make you perspire even more. In here, you'd want to have some ventilation. They're bending over to get the message as well as getting a little breath here.
5:50 on that clock, and UNLV up by a point as the result of that field goal by Gilliam. Wade checked in. Graham goes over and sits down on the Las Vegas bench. Well, tomorrow we'll take you out to the site of the Super Bowl for the All-Madden team. You know, it's about time he puts a basketball player on one of those teams, you know? Now, he's always doing football. He ought to do a little basketball.
Do you have any candidates?
No, I don't know.
How about Charles Oakley? Could be a tight end. Maybe somebody else.
How about Johnson out here? He looks like an offensive lineman.
Well, John goes by the numbers.
That's right. 55's a linebacker's number.
Bad pass.
Bad pass, knocked away by Patio. Banks gets it in his hands. Oh, and he missed the jam at the other end.
Was he hit by Ricky Grace? Patio was way above the rim. This was created by a bad pass down in the corner. I thought Grace got a piece of his leg and flipped him out from underneath. Couldn't see it on that particular play. That was another easy layup.
Yeah, I don't think he did, Billy. I think he just went out of control as he rose up. Now, Patio trying very hard to do something here. He attended junior college in this state for a couple of years, and he has been fortunate from the outside and the inside that time. He's 5 of 16 right now.
And he's a 55% shooter from the three-point line going into this game, 46 for 84.
But, you know, Jerry will not hurt his confidence. He leaves him out there. That's how he handles his players, and it's so successful for him. Home run pass to McAllister.
If it goes. Now, Wade.
Foul by Wade.
Wade's saying no basket. The official hasn't given the signal yet. Let's see. No basket. Again, that baseball pass that Oklahoma uses so effectively. See Johnson again, who's been a man in there today. He sees the open man. There goes the baseball pass. They do this every day in practice. Wade gets him, no basket.
Now, the difference there for the folks who watch both NBA and college basketball is that the field goal would have counted on the continuation, and he'd shoot one free throw. But here instead, he'll come up to the line and shoot because he was fouled before the field goal attempt. So there's a big difference in the rules in that particular category.
Gets a 1-and-1 here.
So it was a good foul by Wade.
Yeah, good foul. Just so you don't do it intentionally, as we saw Kennedy do earlier in the half. McAllister, 80% free throw shooter. Kind of man you want on the line.
He has tied this game We're at the 5-minute mark. It can't get any better than this. The #1 ranked team in the nation, UNLV, with the ball and under intense pressure here from the Sooners of Oklahoma. One of the better teams in the Big 8, perhaps the best this year. Bass Knight moving it over to Banks.
Big 8 has a number of teams looking to get in that 64. Missouri, Kansas, Iowa State. Kansas State playing very well.
Taddeo, under pressure, buries the jump shot from the left baseline that time. 15 points.
Oh, Wade almost had another big steal. Oklahoma getting really careless with the ball in the backcourt.
No one wants this game any more than Mark Wade. He was a freshman here who played for Billy Tubbs and felt he did not get enough playing time. Now he's trying to come back and beat Tubbs for the second time this year, and he picks up Grace.
Left here, went to junior college. And then ended up with Jerry Tarkanian, as so many do.
On the turnover, it'll be easy for Banks. And he just laid it in.
Well, you don't get judged on the basis of how spectacular it is. We've got Bass Knight back in the ball game now. He might have learned a lesson from that shot. Oh, good fake.
Here's Grant going to work in low.
Beautiful fake by Grant. Then he talked to his brother last night. Talked to him before the game. Want to know all about Clemson and what they're doing.
Gilliam.
Both teams going inside a little more now, which is very smart strategy.
This is an impressive UNLV team, folks.
Yeah, win or lose, this #1 ranking certainly is deserving.
You
when you
bet
watch
it
them
is.
play.
It's a better team than I thought I was going to see here today, too.
It ranks right there with that team in '77, 10 years ago, that Jerry Tarkanian took to Atlanta for the
Grace
Final
gets
Four.
inside for the Sooners with a great penetrating field goal, and he has brought Oklahoma back to within 2.
Here's where the three-point plays really become effective. And if you go ahead and hit one, and here goes Banks putting it up. They widen that margin.
Sooners can take the lead if they throw up a successful three-pointer. And Grace, who penetrated last time, goes all the way to the glass. Tipped up by Johnson. Tied at 85.
Oh, he's having a big game.
Now it's 2:45. We're tied for the 11th time here this afternoon.
Might hypnotize him before the game and say, it's on national TV, David. They're not playing Wade. You can see Ricky Grace really backing up to help out on Armin Gillum. Not playing Wade. Wade's got to recognize that and look for the jumper.
Gilliam, and he was fouled by Johnson off a pass from Wade. That's the 3rd personal on Johnson.
Now, Brent, if you're Ricky Grace and you're not going to guard Wade, don't get caught halfway in between. That time he wasn't guarding Wade, and he didn't pull back to help out Johnson on Gilliam. So he's got to make that decision. If they're going to force Wade to shoot here at the end of the game, they might as well just back all the way off him.
And Oklahoma certainly had a foul to give. That's the 6th team foul against the Sooners in the second half.
But Brent,
UNLV was 7.
You don't want to give it when a man's taking a shot.
Yeah, he should have got to him quicker than that.
Sure.
Now Kennedy, with a few words of instruction from the bench, brings it out to his Sooner teammates. It's 85 all, 2:11 to go.
Talked about perspiration. Take a look at Gillum. He's soaked all the way through. Real warrior.
He has 14 rebounds to go with those 21 points right now.
Well, I said about his long year last year, he played in 38 college games, 9 games when Vegas toured to Haiti, then 9 games with the World Championship, plus all that practice time getting ready for our national team. He put in quite a year.
Oklahoma with a chance to get the lead back. McAllister had an open man. Vegas batted the pass away. Now here he is. It's Grant. He was camped on that right baseline. Couldn't hit the jump shot. And the Rebels come back down.
Freddie Banks.
Gilliam wanted it.
Banks likes to shoot in key situations. The next foul will be 1-1, so Oklahoma would put Vegas on the line if they foul from here on out.
Penetration by Banks, goes with the left-handed, knocked away, but it is controlled by Graham. And they get it into Armin Gilliam. Great play by Grace. Grace came from behind the big man.
And Bass Knight fouls on the rebound. That was two great plays by guards. Grace on the blocks, Freddie Banks with a great rebound on the other end. Excellent athletes.
Ricky Grace, the 6'2 junior, comes up with an enormous defensive play as he slips in behind Gilliam, blocks the shot, and then Bass Knight fouls Grant, who will step up at the free throw line here at the Oklahoma end.
74% free throw shooter, having quite a game.
16 rebounds would be his career high, and his 22nd point has tied it. And oh, don't your thoughts go back to the end of the first half if you're a Las Vegas fan. And the point that should have been. The game is tied right now. There was a controversy regarding a three-pointer. Grant puts the Sooners up by a point. 1:18 to go. 87-86.
Real food for real people.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
When your standards are higher than you think you can afford, put yourself in today's Chevy Nova and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Who has the sight and sound experience you must experience? Who? RCA. With digital command component systems. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
No one really knows how your skin got sensitive. But if it is, try the shave cream with more advanced lubricants than any other. New Gillette Foamy for sensitive skin.
1:18 to go here in Norman, Oklahoma. Timeout situation shows the Sooners with one more than the running Rebels, and the Sooners with a 1-point lead against Jerry Tarkanian's #1 ranked and unbeaten running Rebels. They are 15-0. They have beaten Oklahoma in the NIT tournament. That game was in Las Vegas earlier in the season.
Jerry Tarkanian's had quite a record in the PCAA. Down at Long Beach, won 4 straight championships in the PCAA. Since he's been at Vegas, he's won 4 regular season titles, 3 of the tournament championships. So 7 out of 8 times, 8 out of 8 regular seasons, 7 out of 8 he's won the postseason tournament. So, or 3 out of 4 won the postseason tournament while at Vegas. Quite a record. The winningest coach percentage-wise in Division I basketball at 81% wins.
Gilliam gets it into the hands of Banks.
Good job by Billy Tubbs to pick up full court, try to throw UNLV off stride, and they go back to their man-to-man.
Mark Wade, who likes to set the table here for the #1 ranked team. Bass Knight came out to him. Now it is Banks in low to Bass Knight.
Looking for Gilliam inside.
Grant taking him, and sloughing off is Grace. They will just give Wade shooting room and help double up the big man, and it's successful. They couldn't get the pass into him. Now they ship it in against double team, off the fake. Gilliam gets the roll, and the running Rebels go up by 1.
Now there's a case, Brent. Remember I said before the game, play Wade with your tallest man, not your shortest man. That way you would have had a double team inside.
Sooners. Welcome those of you who watched Notre Dame, West Virginia. Oklahoma trailing UNLV with time running out, and Kennedy has put the Sooners ahead. There will be 10 seconds. Tarkanian quickly wants the ball, brought up, and the running Rebels do not use a timeout. Off. Gilliam misses. Bass Knight went high up and couldn't jam it in. Number 1 is lost. The Sooners win. It's 89-88. But now, harken back to the last play of the first half. UNLV had the ball. They had put those 5 seconds back on the clock. There was an air horn that sounded in the stands, and the shot was taken. The officials signaled that play was to be stopped. Then they realized that it should have been legal. They did not get to see this angle when they awarded the 2 points because there was a question about whether or not it should have been a 3-point play. The shot was taken by Graham. It should have counted as 3. And now, as we look at the last play of the game, we realize that this one would have been tied. But instead, UNLV can't pull it out. Bass Knight was up high, could not tap the ball in, and it'll go down as Oklahoma 89, UNLV 88. We'll be right back.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdale has been known as a special breed. Today, the Clydesdales symbolize Budweiser's dedication to quality, superior ingredients, exclusive beechwood aging, and a distinctively clean, crisp taste that only Budweiser can offer. Quality taste. Because this Bud's for you.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
It's the rhythm of the road. It's pulse on the street. Pulse on the street. City and town, magic sound.
If you want the adventure of it all, put yourself in today's Chevy S10 Blazer and listen to your heartbeat.
Ooh, the heartbeat of America.
Chevrolet. Chevrolet.
New Chicken Littles,
New Chicken Littles.
New Chicken Littles.
I love to hold you in my hand.
Oh, I
I found you at the Colonel's,
love you,
and you taste so grand.
my lover.
You're at Kentucky Fried Chicken
So strong,
with your little 39-cent
I
price.
love her.
Little darling, you taste so nice.
Love you.
New Chicken Little sandwiches. You cost just a little, but people love you a lot.
Last year, the Celtics soared past the Rockets to capture the NBA championship. Now Houston gets their first shot at revenge. The rematch tomorrow on CBS Sports.
And the celebration continues in Norman, Oklahoma. Number 1 has lost for the first time, and they did it as the result of this field goal. With time running down, Kennedy penetrated in low on the turnaround, got it to fall, and then UNLV could not score afterwards. So Coach Terry Tarkanian has moved over here along with Jim Nance, and we want to get a word with Jim and Jerry. Jimmy, take it away.
Coach, first of all, that last play before the first half, a little bit of a controversy as to whether it was a 2 or a 3. How did you see it?
I thought it was a 3, but it doesn't make any difference how I see it, you know.
At the end of the game, you elected not to call a timeout for the game-winning shot.
We had 12 seconds, and I thought the court was spread, and I felt we'd get a better shot. We got a better shot than we would have got if we'd have taken timeout. Our best shooter had a 12-foot shot. We can't get any better than that.
What do you think the difference was in this ball game?
You know, we weren't defensively. We weren't up in the passing lanes. We were allowing them to pass the ball where they wanted to. We didn't deny any passes. And we weren't real quick defensively. That was the thing that hurt us more than anything.
All right, Jerry. For joining us. First loss of the year for number 1 UNLV. We'll be back to Norman, Oklahoma in just a moment.
The abominable energy bill, the one you've been dreading all winter long. But CertainTeed fiberglass insulation can help make that energy bill less scary. Buy 10 bags or more of energy-saving CertainTeed insulation and get a free automatic thermostat control to set back your heat when you forget. Help cut your abominable energy bill down to size. Let CertainTeed come to the rescue.
If we could light a candle for everything he's done, for every life he's bettered, for every victory won, that light would shine so brightly that all the world would see all he did for peace and freedom and equality.
McDonald's joins the nation in celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
The great American face. Rugged, distinctive, every one an original, deserving of the best. The great American razor. Classic, solid, perfectly balanced. It's the Atra system from Gillette. Original Atra pivots for closeness, and Atra Plus adds a white Lubrasmooth strip for extra protection. The great American face deserves the great American shave. The Atra shaving system, only from Gillette. The essence of shaving.
This game will forevermore be known as the home horn advantage. Oklahoma upsets UNLV. The Chevrolet most valuable players of this game, Harvey Grant, who had a spectacular game for the Sooners, and Armin Gilliam, who kept UNLV right in the thick of it. A check in the amount of $1,000 goes to each school's general scholarship fund. So for Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger. So long from the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma. It doesn't get any wilder than this. Oklahoma has beaten number 1, 89-88. And NCAA basketball has been a presentation of CBS Sports.
Nobody has lower fares than United to more cities across this land. North to south, east to west, only United has low fares to all 50 states.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
When you look for champions, you look to CBS Sports. This is CBS.
Action 11 News with John McGrath, Gary Rizzo's weather, and Rick Van Hoos with sports.
Good evening, I'm John McGrath. Youth gangs and violence are a growing concern for many West Louisville residents. Today, those residents packed a meeting held by a Louisville alderman. They want to know what police are doing to keep the kids under control. Paula Campbell has the story.
On December 30th, an apparent gang fight between the junior monks and the psychos in southwest Jefferson County left a 14-year-old boy with a fractured skull. 2 weeks later, an argument between two groups at the Broadway roller rink in West Louisville ended when a 10-year-old was shot in the arm. Police say some of the kids in the group were members of the monks gang. The growing problem of gangs has police and area residents concerned. And today, 10th Ward Alderman Arthur Smith called an advisory meeting to discuss the problem.
If we chop the head off, perhaps we can do something with these babies that are running around with guns and knives and actually hurting people.
You saw a lot of people congregating. You saw a lot of them wearing some element of similar clothing that would identify themselves. And now at least it seems that it's gone way beyond that to where they're carrying guns.
We have the problem of people being attracted, youth being attracted to the gangs or being intimidated to join the gangs. And then you have the problem, we have 2 problems here of trying to eliminate that as well as trying to, what to do with the actual gang itself.
Louisville police say the problem may stem from kids having too much time in their hands and not enough parental supervision. They say they do what they can to crack down on gangs, but residents have to do their part.
I agree that the majority of these people in these gangs are children. And that there is a need for more parental control, even if it means working through police department.
What we need from you as the citizens is, if you see it, please call us right then. And call and get those cars there and be willing at least put out a description of what they're wearing, which direction they're going, how many of them.
Officials will continue to meet with residents to further discuss what they can do to put a lid on the gang problem. One of the ways is to set up a forum where parents can get help in dealing with a problem child, and how residents can fight back through the courts. The next meeting will be January 26th. Paula Campbell, Action 11 News.
A 27-year-old woman died today from smoke inhalation following yesterday's fire at her home. Suzanne King of the 1800 block of Brownsboro Road died at 3:30 this morning at University Hospital. Yesterday, the mentally handicapped woman was trapped inside the burning home. Firefighters got her out after several minutes, but say trash and clutter in the home hindered their rescue efforts. Area residents who say they have complained about trash for more than 30 years say King's death could have probably been prevented.
Officials would do their jobs. The health department knew about this. Sanitation department knew about it. Police departments knew about it, you know. Why do they have to wait till death to do something about something? You know?
City sanitation officials say the department has never received any complaints about the mess in King's Yard. However, officials did receive several complaints about a yard a couple of blocks away. Officials say since King's Yard was private property, the department would not have had the authority to get the mess cleaned up. 5 men who would like to be Kentucky's next governor met the press today. The candidates talked about issues ranging from campaign reform to economic development. They also talked about at least one other man who has not yet entered the fray. Melissa Swan has that story.
4 Democratic candidates and 1 Republican outlined their ideas on how Kentucky can strengthen its economic base.
You cannot truly build this state until we first build the economy of our major urban center of Louisville, Kentucky, and Jefferson County.
Businessman Wallace Wilkinson says one incentive package the size of a Toyota deal could bring businesses to all of Kentucky's 120 counties.
If we have that, we could give from 300 to 500 small and medium-sized businesses and would-be entrepreneurs in this state from $500,000 to $1 million each.
Lieutenant Governor Steve Beshear and Dr. Grady Stumbo say small existing businesses should get a lot of help.
We need a strong existing industries program that supports expansion and strengthening of existing industries. We need to understand that small business is at the heart of it, and that the essential fact lacking in small business is venture capital.
Developing our own potential, expanding our existing industries, getting our entrepreneurs to a position to start a new business. That's where it's at.
And Representative John Harper, the only announced Republican candidate, says state-supported industry should not be competing with private companies.
We want to encourage private enterprise.
The filing deadline for the gubernatorial race is more than a month away. Now, that could account for the relaxed atmosphere in this room, but at least one of the candidates was willing to tell reporters they were far too friendly today.
We've got to quit having these sort of cotton candy forums and get down to the nuts and bolts of holding people accountable for what they say.
Many Kentuckians and even the candidates don't have the answer for one of the most frequently asked questions. Will former Governor John Y. Brown get in the race?
I have no idea and don't care.
Don't care. Don't care.
I expect him to run, and I'm going to enjoy running against him. It's going to be a very lively campaign.
Melissa Swan, Action 11 News.
Still to come, Gary Rizzo with our forecast.
This is the voice of a legendary recording star. Sweet Dreams, the new movie of her life, has let millions of all ages hear the magic that made her famous.
Where's this place called Lonely?
And now, we present Patsy Cline's legendary records for you to enjoy. These are among the most heart-touching hits of all time.
Each time I